Welcome. In this video, we're going to be discussing solving quadratic equations by factorizing. Just a brief recap, a quadratic equation is one which is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. Our variable is x, and for all quadratic equations, the highest power is of the degree 2. The highest power is 2. So this is a quadratic equation. So we are going to be solving equations which are in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c using the factorization method. So for example, we want to solve a question which is an equation which is 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals to 0. Now, there are quite a number of methods for you to help you factorize. I'm going to use the one for product sum. So this means that if my equation is 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 is 0, the product is the a and the c, that is the coefficients or the number in front of x squared, and the last number which has no x in it. So my product in this case would be -6, and my sum, which is the b or the middle number, would be +5. So I'm looking for two numbers that if you multiply them you get -6, but if you add them you get a +5. So I'm going to look through the factors of 6. So I could start with 3 and 2. 3 and 2 give me 6. So if I put a negative on one of them, I would get -6. But if I add them, I don't get a +5. So 3 and 2 do not work. Let me look at 6 and 1. The other factors of 6. So 6 and 1 gives me a 6. If I put a negative on 1, I'll get a -6. And if I do 6 plus -1, I get a 5. So these are the two factors, 6 and 1, that I'm going to use to factorize this. Now I'm going to replace 5x with 6 and -1, because 6 plus -1 equals 5. So my equation becomes 3x squared plus 6x minus x minus 2 equals 0. Now you need to notice that if I simplified this expression on my left hand side, I would get back 3x squared plus 5x minus 2. So now I can factorize this. So the common factor for 3x squared and 6x is 3x. If I factorize out 3x, on this side I stay with x and a plus 2, meaning that if I expanded this, I can get back my 3x squared plus 6x. And then for -x and -2, I factorize out a -1 so that I have x plus 2 equals to 0. Now when factorizing a quadratic, these you have to end up with the same expression in the bracket. So if I had x plus 2 and x plus 3 here, I would have to go back and check my work, because my aim is to get two brackets. So since these are the same, I can factorize out x plus 2, and here I'll be left with a 3x minus 1 equals to 0. Now here, if you're solving a product of any two terms and they're equal to 0, it means that either of them equals to 0. So this means that either x plus 2 equals to 0 or 3x minus 1 equals to 0. So if x plus 2 equals to 0, that means that x equals to -2. And if 3x minus 1 equals to 0, that means that x equals to a third. So these are the solutions to the quadratic equation 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals to 0. Now, something to note, the solutions to this equation are also called the roots of the equation. We are going to expound more about roots of the equation when we are solving a quadratic equation by graphical method.